Welcome back to the Comic Book Savant YouTube channel. I'm your host, James Harris. In this episode, we're going to be doing a review of The Legend of Korra, Turf Wars Part 2. I, not too long ago, did a review of Part 1 of Turf Wars and thoroughly enjoyed it. So I wanted to follow up with the next part, and I'll be continuing with Part 3 as well. I've already picked that up. So with that being said, let's jump into Turf Wars Book 2. Again, going into it, I don't know if you're a fan of the Legend of Korra cartoon series. If you're unfamiliar with the history, I'll go over it real quick. If you've ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's a continuation in that world with the next Avatar after Avatar Aang. So this is set in the same world years after he's gone on and he's passed away. So some of the characters that you were introduced to, you see them as older adults, and you see their children. It's a very rich and lush world, and some of the children and different characters from the original series have very big supporting parts in the Legend of Korra series. It was a huge cartoon. It ended, and now Dark Horse is doing a series of original graphic novels continuing in that world. They did a similar thing with Avatar: The Last Airbender as well, and they had a long-running series of original graphic novels. So, basically these graphic novels play out like they're roughly about under 100 pages, if I remember correctly, around 80, some or 90 pages. So they play out like two episodes, like an hour-long episode of what the cartoon would have been, basically, which is perfectly fine. There, you can get these retail for about $7 or $8. They're well worth it if you're a fan of the series. So with that being said, we have a lot going on with our main characters, Team Avatar, with Korra, Asami, Bolin, as well. They're all adjusting to their different roles. After the series ended, Bolin and Mako are on the police force on the turf, the gang war special unit. Then we have the fallout of Korra opening up the portals to the spirit world, to the real world. And it's a lot of the drama and the storyline is based on the fallout from that choice that she made at the end of the series. Book 1 was really setting up kind of the landscape of the world. We start seeing a glimpse of the repercussions, and now this turf war is going on right smack dab in the middle of it. Once the city is trying to clean up and adjust to this new world that Korra's opened up, and she saved the city, but then at the same time, certain people feel like it's all her fault. So she's, has this internal conflict going on. It was revealed at the end of the series that that Korra has feelings for Asami. So spoiler alert, if you didn't watch it, it ended years ago. But so they started dealing with that as well in the first book, and we're getting, as they're coming to grips to this newfound relationship that's new for both of them, and letting loved ones close to them know, and now how the world is going to perceive it. And it's, it's very fitting, because we have a lot of people, dealing with the LGBT community and how people perceive them. So I really, it's not done in a preachy way. It's just what the characters are. And it's seeing them, in this kind of classic society or traditional society, how like this is not common. So them trying to, determine for themselves what their relationship is, as well as how to present it to other people, is a big challenge and a big part of the drama that we're starting to see develop. That is creating some tension between them and with certain individuals as they're trying to present, hey, we're in love. It shouldn't be a big thing, though we're both females or what have you. So if you're a fan of the cartoon series, is done by the same writing team. So that writing and that character development is all there. It's very rich. They've built upon book one. I think this is slightly better in book one because they had to set up the world and reintroduce people to the characters. Now that they've got that established, we could go with in this particular story and get things running. And we see a new villain emerge based on some incidents that happened in book one, which I'm not going to spoil for you guys. He's come back in a big way, and he's going to definitely be a threat going on in the Turf War series. I don't know how many books total will be in this first series, just from what I've known with the Avatar: The Last Airbender series. Sometimes they go up to 5 or 6 parts. Like I said, part 3 has already been released. It kind of came back to back with part 2. It was a little space between book 1 or part 1, but 2 and 3 rapidly came out. I haven't seen anything in any solicitations or anything online about book 4. So I will have a review for book 3 coming up in the upcoming weeks. So I definitely, if I had to, give this a score, I highly recommend it. I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. Definitely, again, if you're a fan, if you're unfamiliar with the cartoon, you can still pick up these books and read. Definitely pick up book 1 to try to get familiar, but I feel like you won't get the full understanding or get it as attached to the characters if you don't have the cartoon as a point of reference to really know all the individual stories. They do a good job on trying to flash back, but I feel like you might be a little bit lost. But if you guys are a big fan of the cartoon series like I am, it's really great to see these characters continue and grow on through comics with these original graphic novels. And again, they're relatively inexpensive. The only thing I could say as a negative, let me say this before I close out the review, and I mentioned this in the review for book 1, maybe because they were getting these first books out quickly, the artwork at certain points gets a little sloppy and choppy. You could tell that it was being rushed. And this is just my thought, you guys might not feel the same way. Let me know in the comments below if you do. I would rather wait a little bit longer and make sure that the artwork is as tight as possible and really matches the emotion, because I always felt like the cartoon series had a certain level of quality throughout and was always top notch. The writing, the art, the animation, everything flowed together so seamlessly. So sometimes it's jarring and a little bit disappointing that the comic doesn't keep that same high standard. Not saying it's horrible, but it's noticeable when the artwork dips off in certain areas and it gets real sloppy and choppy, and then it straightens out. But that's always a gripe I can have with most comic books nowadays. But I'm your host, James Harris. This is my review of Legend of Korra, Turf Wars Book 2. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you smash the like button. It really helps me a ton. So smash, smash, smash. Also, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, leave comments down below. Let me know if you have ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, if you've ever watched Legend of Korra, and have you picked up any of these books? Like I said, if you watch the cartoon and you really like the characters and you want to see a continuing story from right when the series ends and see how these characters develop, these are worth your time to pick up if you haven't already. Again, I'm your host, James Harris. This is the Comic Book Savant YouTube channel. That's all I have for you for this video. I'll see you next time, and you guys have a good week. See you soon.